kind of look for, poke around and look for some old, seldom talked about hollow earth entrances. And of course, all the caves and all the access points have been dynamited or welded shut, and everything was pretty locked down.
Again, he's former FBI agent, and he is the X-Man, is what he's known as. He said, I want to come back and talk to you about Antarctica and all the heads of state that are going there. And we're like, what's going on down there? We got to find out.
So he gets to Antarctica, and long story short, they discover there in Antarctica. Now, this is in 1998, right? They discover there's bases under the ice.
But then they found that there was this huge magnetic anomaly down there. But the magnetic anomaly is consistent with basically a 50-mile wide city, a metropolis down there.
Wow. Of course, he teaches in the public school system, so if he started talking about this, from what I found out from a geometry teacher friend of mine, that you can lose your job over this one.
We'll assume it's U.S. military, but we don't know for sure. But satellites over Antarctica discovered something under the ice, and it was a huge something. It was gigantic. We still don't know what it is. They still won't discuss it. It causes magnetic disturbances.
The first territorial incursion committed by the Nazi Party in 1939, their takeover of Norwegian sovereign territory at the northern tip of Antarctica. But why? What were the Nazis looking for?
I get an order from the Pentagon to report to the Chief of Research and Development. I walked in the General Trudeau's office. Then he gave me an order. He said, Phil, watch things for me. The rest don't understand.
The fallen angels being locked away beneath the ice in Antarctica. There's not very many people that go to Antarctica. For some reason, that's just the land that nobody touches.
But why would he, at the age of 86, go to the Antarctic? It had to be something monumental. It had to be something that's really something that would change everything.
Sometimes we use robots in the plants. Some of the plants we have are 50 or 60 acres under roof. We have a section of the plant we call recon, which is recontainerization. Stuff comes in from the train or comes in on
we turned into like a journey to the center of the earth type thing, where there was actual physical entrance at the North Pole, and he went inside it and saw it, the land that time forgot.
If you want to know how many residents it has as its population, the official count is an average of only 5,000 temporary residents. That's all the scientific community
Military bases, alien bases, there's a laboratory there, there's, an entire situation going on of contact between the human race and an alien race. And then, of course,
the Congressional Committee went down there, and that's when rumors began about this Antarctica city having been discovered. The city was a city that was flash frozen around the time of the Great Flood.
It's covered by a molten glass dome. There are waters above that dome. The Earth is, a disc, not a ball.
In the Earth's magnetic field so far out that it can be sensed out 300 miles away from the planet. This unknown thing, spaceship or something otherworldly that would be found in Antarctica.
As this saga continues to unfold, I am gradually becoming more convinced that the early Nazi success in Antarctica provided the impetus for everything else that was to come.
And we have 3,000 officers in R&D. And that was the order he gave me. Watch things because the rest don't understand for me. We knew they were important, and we knew there was something there. Return them to us for a competitive edge of the Army and give them to the people.
The Ark of Gabriel was taken. Russia took the Ark of Gabriel to Antarctica. If these fallen angels are released from their prison,
so he goes down there, and what does he see? He sees exactly what these people are saying that they have found. He sees the mothership. You don't see the other two because they're buried under the ice, but one they've dug down to. They're 2 miles down in the ice.
And we have to sequence that, put it in order of color. And sometimes we use robots or we use self-driving carts because they don't have eyes like we have eyes. This is all driven by military research.
There was a huge expanse of land bigger than the United States past the South Pole, which he hadn't even seen yet. which meant that nobody's seen it because he was the leading explorer in the world at that point, and he flew his own planes.
The personnel there is just incredibly small as far as how many people are there. These pyramids that have been uncovered at Antarctica, and that are larger than the pyramids of Giza.
Out of this underground base in Antarctica, this huge hole begins to open up. This spacious, huge, UFO spacecraft comes up out of the ice, from under the ice.
So Antarctica is not millions of years old in terms of it being covered by ice over a period of millions of years. There were cities, or basically metropolises down in Antarctica. It was...
Well, NASA says it's not, space agency says it's not, the government says it's not, and we've been told all this stuff, but, it just comes down to our own eyes and what we can prove.
When we find out that there's this large magnetic anomaly under the ice that is not part of the continent itself. In other words, there's something sitting on the Antarctic continent that's underneath the ice that is still able to throw out a magnetic field disturbance 300 miles out.
The coming of transhumanist robots, chemical human hybrids, and artificial intelligence. Without the Deutsche Antarctica success in 1939, World War II might never have happened.
The integrated circuit turned into a supercomputer in 30 years. We were a little bit worried about that, like I told the general. What are we unleashing on the world, General? We don't know what this thing will end up. What if it integrates with the brain?
In the end times, these fallen angels are probably pretty angry since they've been trapped. They're trapped in Antarctica. They're probably pretty angry that they've been trapped for so long.
He sees that. He realizes that these are aliens. It was aliens who helped us advance. It were alien beings that were coming down from the sky in these wheels that the Bible talks about.
Humans have 120 degrees of peripheral vision, and we can run as fast as 25 miles an hour at an oblique angle to that moving object and catch it midair in a glove.
The entire Antarctic continent was made out of resource-rich materials, and nations could be squabbling over this thing for years and years to come. You can ignore a lot of stuff, but you can't ignore conspiracies that are bigger than money.
Now, one thing that Lima and Google Earth have in common, is that both systems show blur-outs, whiteouts, and grayscale alterations of certain areas.
And moves up into the air and flies away. The elite are trying to push and pre-program and indoctrinate people's minds.
They're trying to negotiate. This is the thing. They wanted me to tell about cloning. They wanted me to tell about Vril and the hosts, the parasited hosts. Now the thing is, they did not want me to tell about the chip heads because they want to continue their fake immortality, flawed existence. But I told. Why did they want you to tell about the other stuff, Al? Okay, all the celebrities, they don't want to attend anymore. And all of the ground level people that go there for rowdy, crazy, disgusting fun, they don't want to go there anymore. The novelty is worn off. Basically business, they're trying to shut the business down because it's not as functional anymore, right? Yes, and they don't know what to do about all the hosts in the world. There is a lot of hosts, parasited hosts of these lizards. They used to be called mimics because they mimic human behavior. Germans called them doppelgangers. They have all kinds of names from different countries. Japan called them Oni. That means demon in Japan. Yeah, they want it known, but they said that this is the subject that is going to cause the end of the world, and they said I have to say it right to the world, or it's going to be a catastrophe, because this could, once it's proven, once you see a crab, I call them crab nasties, once you see a real body on television, and then people know what the proboscis does, and then someone says the percentage of the population that has been droned, it could lead to panic, riots, loss of social order, looting, martial law, all that, and that could be the end of the world, spiral down. Just, everybody got to stay calm. They're trying to think of a solution, but the thing is, China and Russia, Man, China and Russia and Germany are pretty much the most powerful factions there. Italy is pretty much, well, Italy has the religious part of the Catholicism there. They got lots of money, but they're nothing compared to China and Russia. China and Russia droned a lot of people, very heartlessly, with a military agenda. And
well, Donnie, so what does that mean? Like, for the average person? So, are you saying that, like, when you're walking down the street, I would tend to think that there'd be some people that would be droned, which means it's their body is not really their original human body, but it's this sort of real mentality taking over human bodies. So, if you're walking down the street, there could be a percentage of other people right now. But also on that, then looking at positions in power, wouldn't it make sense to conceive the idea, if that's what their agenda is, whatever it is for droning, that people in high power, even presidents and so forth, could be drones instead of just definitely.
And
if you
when you say China and Russia militarily, are you trying to say that they're using China and Russia as their personal bodyguards? No, they are. China and Russia have been using lizards to replace people, to drone people and make them willing slaves, because the drone just likes being a human. What's in it for the lizards? What's in it for the lizards then? Ensured safety, keeping them secret. They get more bodies to inhabit for their friends back underground and stuff. Different stuff. So they're also like food purveyors then to them. They're like food and entertainment providers. Yes, exactly. No, they don't only drone people. They eat people. Their favorite food is humans and goats. Goats and the type 3s like poultry, blood. Now they drink blood, and the solids that they like are brain and pancreas for choicest parts, right? And they get them people. Governments get them people to eat. It's disgusting. You would think that the government people were drones. Now, the thing is, China and Russia, they pretty much undermined America so bad. They have been droning people in America for a long time, in the government and everything, and chipping people's heads and taking over. America isn't even, I don't want to get people mad, but America isn't even really a country. It's a parasite country. It's going to have a real bad time soon, because Russia and China are setting it up to take a fall.
We will be exporting chicken to the Chinese.
Can we buy a Chinese firm?
No, not right now.
Then why should they buy one of ours?
Why not?
Because we can't buy one of theirs. Open up the market.
Very, very well.
Yes, we have capitalism and we embrace it. We have capitalism and we embrace it. We have capitalism and we embrace it. We have capitalism and
the reptilians have the ability to literally inhabit or possess our bodies, just like stories of demonic possession from the old days. The reptilians can do this. They can take over control of our bodies, and they can also interbreed with us. The Draco reptilians, which are the leadership caste of reptilians, let's say, they also are psychic vampires. They love to feed on our emotions, especially strong emotions like terror, anger, heartbreak. They set up a lot of people so that they can put them in situations where these emotions will come out, and then they can just invisibly harvest that energy, because of course our bodies are putting out energy all the time, and the more intense the emotion is, the more energy that we put out from our bodies, and they can just basically feed off of that. But the Draco also, they're carnivorous. They like to eat humans, especially babies and young children, because they haven't polluted their bodies. And there's millions of people that have gone missing over the past several decades that have never been accounted for. Where do you hide millions of people? You can't hide them. You know, they're being turned over to these aliens. They'll do anything they can to get them as terrified as possible, because when their bodies are infused with maximum amount of adrenaline, they get like a kind of a high off of it that they've kind of become addicted to. It's like a drug to them. It's a terrible thing. It's one of the most difficult things to talk about, and it's certainly all by itself that's a reason not to disclose the truth. The aliens which are in control of this place are malevolent, they're hostile, they're invasive, intrusive. They don't care at all about our well-being or our comfort.
Shalom Israel, Shalom. I hope you're hearing and paying attention to what's going on in this video. Okay, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Rashah. Alright, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatah. Let's get right into it. We're talking about we're talking about Antarctica and where these events are taking place and how they lined up with the Bible. Let's get it. It says 2 Peter 2:4. It says, "For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment." So angels sin, right? So the angels that sin. So the Bible is clearly telling you and confirming the belief, you know what I'm saying, or the scripture that is written in Enoch. All the brothers that are talking about we don't mess with Enoch and it's because you don't deal with the full knowledge of the truth of the Bible. There's another scripture that confirms the Book of Enoch's validation. Okay, and it says here in Jude 1:6, "And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he has reserved into everlasting chains unto darkness until the judgment of the great day." Antarctica, as we've seen in the beginning, Antarctica is one of those places. There, one of the chief angels, his name is Azazel, but he is chained up and underground. And the white man is telling you, he knows where his daddy's at. You know what I'm saying? He know. So he found him. If you remember the cartoon or the superheroes, the Power Rangers, remember their chief or their leader, his name was Zordon, right? But Zordon was just inside, you just seen his head, and he was inside like a glass, and he used to give the instructions to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Yeah, they put it right in front of us. So remember when I said they move on, as demons, they move on spiritual legality, okay? Right, so why would they do this? Why would there be a need for them to have you, you know what I'm saying, know what's going on to an extent? Well, even if it's on a subconscious level, that's even better. If you don't consciously know what it means, because your subconscious knows everything. They need you to agree with it in some kind of way, okay? This is how demons move. This is how demons operate. They cannot have you, they can't just do things, okay? So they have to have you agree with it in some kind of way. A demon can't possess you not unless you're dealing with some kind of gateway, as like tarot cards or a Ouija board. Then the devil has the opportunity to say, "God, now I can get him." You have to agree to it somehow. You have to give that's right, you got to sign your soul over to the devil in your name and blood. You know what I'm saying? For him to be able to take your life and take your, you know what I'm saying? Because you have to agree in some kind of way. But if they put a TV show on that's just for the kids and have you agree with it and take your kid to the movie about whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? You're worshiping the devil subconsciously, but so what? They don't care. We got it. Transformers, the Autobots, they are the demons. They represent the fallen angels. It's right in front of us everywhere. Transformers represent, yes, right, the Autobots represent the fallen angels. And what is the Decepticons? They represent the angels of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? They make evil good and good evil. Remember the movie, The Apocalypse, X-Men, The Apocalypse? And the bad guy in the movie was, yeah, I'm Ra, God, Jesus, whatever. And he's the bad guy. This is how they make you, have you agree with being a demon. They that's right, they make you agree, if just on a subconscious level, with what they're doing to you. That's right, Pizzagate. You're just buying your son a hat and it got a slice of pizza on it. You don't know that that shirt means, it's a secret code for pedophilia. They need you to agree with it. See, it's okay if you agree. This is how the devil operates. All right, let's go to Psalm 78:49, which reads, "He cast upon them fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels among them." God sent these evil angels among us. They still are here to the day, and they will be here to oppress, afflict, destroy, and cause trouble until the day of consummation or judgment day. That's right, the 66 books and the Apocrypha confirm this, as well as the Book of Enoch and Joshua confirms this. This is all inspired scripture. Please, come back to your heritage in the fullness of the truth, or the light of the truth. because that's what the word of God is. Because you don't want to deal with it. And the reason is you're either one of God's elect or you're a reptilian human hybrid. There's no in between nowadays. And that's why they want you to keep you away from these books, because they're the damn devil and don't want to be exposed for who that they are. It convinced me, man. You can't tell me that I didn't see what I see. You can't tell me that I'm not going through what I'm going through every day, man. So for you say Enoch ain't real, you're telling me I'm not going through what I'm going through. I'm crazy, schizophrenic, and you probably do need to be up in a extreme or something. Nah, nigga, you can't tell me what I see before my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Tell the police that, oh, these devils know. Tell these damn devils around me. You know what I'm saying? That the Book of Enoch ain't real. They know it because they know who their damn daddy is. Because they hate normalcy. Anything that goes normal, they hate it. The sky is blue. Is because I see people hate to read, and that's all it's about. Niggas still don't want to read. Alright, so let's go to Enoch 10, and we're going to start at the 4th verse, and it says the same thing that's in Jude 1:6, and it says the same thing that's in 2 Peter 2:4, and it says Enoch 10:4, and it says, again the Lord said to Raphael, bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is in Dudel. You know what I'm saying? And cast him therein, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever, and cover his face, that he might not see the light. And on the day of great judgment, he shall be cast into the fire. Okay, so this is basically what it's saying. It's the same thing that's being said. He's being reserved until the great day of judgment. Their seed is out here wreaking havoc right now. Because you don't want to deal with it, the truth is not going to change, all right? There's plenty of other people. That's why I put Eve in this video, and I'm putting the serpent, you know what I'm saying, and the white boy telling you. The white boy telling you, Donald Marshall, this nigga's actually been in the cloning centers. B.O.B. talked about it. Tila Tequila and talked about the stuff that's going on. And they reptiles, and they see it. They seen this stuff. Yeah, they got $1 million too. My spirit's been on my spirit. That's why I had to say something about it. Any questions, please get at me, Israel. The beginning is near. You heard what the man said. Russia and China been setting America up for a fall. And guess what? That's on the underground and on the surface. No matter where you go, that truth is still the truth. Okay? All right. Israel, we about to get up out of here. All praise to the Most High God. The beginning is near. Shalom.
So then the question becomes, if it is in fact scripture, and if it did come to pass, because yes, it came to pass, and these allegories and visions came to pass, and based on the definition of scripture itself, if a prophet writes something and if it comes to pass, it's definitely scripture indeed. If all of the visions of Enoch in fact came to pass, why isn't it in scripture with the other books? Are they hiding something? Let's find out, because the very 5th and final part of Enoch, which is chapters 91 onward, talk about the book of the Epistle of Enoch, which is written for later generations to distinguish the reward for the righteous and all of the punishments for the wicked. But there's also definitely something else worth noting. Towards the end of the Book of Enoch, they also describe Noah's birth, and Noah as having white skin, resembling to that of the fallen ones, and this is according to the text itself, not according to me. This comes from the fragment of the Book of Noah. Enoch chapter 106 verses 1 through 7. And after some days, my son Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech, and she became pregnant by him and bore a son. And his body was white as snow, and red as the blooming of a rose, and the hair of his head and his long locks were white as wool, and his eyes pleasant. And when he opened his eyes, he lit up the whole house like the sun, and the whole house was very bright. And after that he rose in the hands of the midwife, and opened his mouth, and conversed with Yahuwah of righteousness. And his father Lamech was very afraid of him, and fled, and came to his father Methuselah. And he said unto him, I have begotten a strange son, different from and unlike man, and resembling the sons of the Yahuwah of the Shamayim or heaven. And his nature is different, and he is not like us. And his eyes are as the rays of the sun, and his face is magnificent. And it seems to me that he is not brought forth from me, but from the messengers. And I fear that in his days a wonder may be wrought on the earth. And now, my father, I am here to petition you and implore you that you may go to Enoch our father and learn from him the truth, for his dwelling place is amongst the messengers. What's the truth when it comes to all of this? That yes, history has been whitewashed, and you even see it in the Book of Enoch. That's another reason that they had to hide this book, because they don't want you to know that all of the people in scripture were in fact black indeed. All of the prophets of old and all of the people in scripture were dark-skinned, so-called black, including Enoch, including Methuselah, including Lamech, including Adam, all the way down until the Mashiach and the people during his time too. But it was only until they became whitewashed that they all of a sudden became white. Oh, what wonders a paintbrush will do indeed, based on the synagogues of Satan who go around and say that they're the chosen, even though they're not, and there's scripture to prove this too. And just as we read in the Book of Enoch, Noah was in fact albino and he gave birth to black children, and all of his children were in fact black because they were all black back then. And I've gone over plenty of scripture with this to prove that yes, the people of scripture were in fact black, with the exception of giants and the fallen ones. And that's another reason that this book was hidden, in order to whitewash history. So in conclusion, we see exactly how much truth is in this book, and we've just gone over the book from front to back basically and summarized the major parts of it. But we see that not only did they try to hide this book in order to whitewash history and push their agenda of a fake fraudulent nation, they also don't want people to know this stuff because they wanted to hide and try to keep hidden the fallen ones and all of their nefarious actions and how they're here too, and the existence of giants and the Nephilim. And also how the fallen ones tampered with creation and created disgusting creatures such as dinosaurs and many different lizards that you've seen all throughout history that they try to say is millions and millions of years old, but really was the actual result of the fallen ones. And they're mingling the seeds with animals too, because it wasn't just with the women, it was also the animals, and they're doing the exact same thing even as we speak, preparing for their new world order, because they already have the giants and they have the dinosaurs and other disgusting creatures ready to go. That's why you've been seeing this stuff subliminally in movies like Jurassic Park and many other ones, and even ones like the BFG, the Big Friendly Giant. Not to mention how your government, your so-called royal families, your so-called elite, and your so-called celebrities have been teaming up and working with these fallen ones and these demons for well over 70 years now, along with the synagogues of Satan, the Zionists themselves, in a plan for massive world control. Have even been involved with organizations such as Freemasonry and the Illuminati, and hired Illuminati Freemasonic pseudoscientists and also those of NASA to spread their lies, because NASA means lie. And they had to keep this book hidden for the fallen ones in order to conspire their plans and cover up the secrets and cover up the truth of the flat earth, just as Enoch exposes. But they also had to cover up Antarctica and also condition the world into believing planets that actually do not exist, in order to push the Hollywood agenda of the alien deception and the alien propaganda, because the fallen ones are going to disguise themselves as aliens, and they're pushing the NASA planets lie so that the world can buy their false messiah and Project Bluebeam agenda once the New World Order gets here, once the satanic New World agenda gets here. But the question is, will you be fooled, or will you see the truth that's right in front of you? All getting ready for the deceptions and the delusions that are even at the door. But now that we're awakened to truth now, we know better than that. There are a myriad of reasons why the Book of Enoch was covered up and hidden for all of these years up until now. But now, because we know the truth, and the truth will make us free, we also see that Enoch also foreshadows and talks about the redemption of Yasharal to come and the defeat of our enemies. And when we continue to seek Yahuwah and his true son Yahusha and put all of our trust in Yahuwah Yahusha, we can continue to look up, for we know that our redemption draweth nigh. This is Truth Unveiled here, saying as always, Shalom.